Welcome to Around the Globe, a place where we bring you information and facts about the globe. You will learn a lot here. Please hit that subscribe button and you will learn more. Today's topic is top 10 fastest growing economies in the world. Today we are going to start from top to bottom, starting at country number 10, Singapore. Singapore, a country in Asia sitting on 728.6 square kilometers of land with a total population of 5,453,566. Today Singapore's total GDP is a whopping $397 billion with a GDP per capita of $116,486. GDP per capita means total GDP divided by the total population of the country. Singapore, a busy metropolis in Southeast Asia and home to one of the busiest ports on earth, was established as a British commercial colony in the 19th century. The city-state's 5.7 million residents reside primarily on the capital island, which is also home to a number of neighboring islands. Singapore gained self-governance in 1959 and in 1963 joined the Federation of Malaysia. In 1965 it left the Federation and became independent as the Republic of Singapore. Today, it operates under a conservative parliamentary republic that is world-renowned for its strict laws and tight regulation. While safety and security serve as a major point of pride, residents and visitors are subject to harsh penalties for chewing gum, littering and more. One of Asia's 4 economic tigers, Singapore has experienced impressive growth in recent years as the growing electronics and pharmaceutical industries have paved the path for free market innovation. Singapore is among the world's richest countries due to its high GDP per capita and low unemployment rate. Singapore is highly crowded, with the majority of the populace residing in city high-rises. The population of Singapore is predicted to increase exponentially over the following decades, with immigrants expected to make up more than half of the population by 2030. 9. Brazil. Brazil, a country in South America sitting on 8,515,770 square kilometers of land with a total population of 213,993,441. Today, Brazil's total GDP is a whopping $1.61 trillion with a GDP per capita of $16,056. Brazil is the continent's giant in terms of size and population, taking up half of its land area. Brazil has had boom and bust cycles throughout its history, and its culture is a melting pot that has frequently welcomed immigrants from around the world. One of the most popular tourist places on earth is Brazil. However, the nation faces important issues involving poverty, inequality, governance, and the environment in the 21st century. Early in the 19th century, after gaining its independence from Portugal, Brazil's government underwent a transition from monarchy to military dictatorship to civilian governance. Brazil is a democratic federal republic as of right now. Brazil's economy is active in the agricultural, manufacturing, mining, and service sectors and is endowed with abundant natural resources. The country is a leading producer of coffee. According to the International Monetary Fund, Brazil presently has one of the greatest economies in the world in terms of gross domestic product after expanding quickly during the first decade of the 21st century. 8. Japan. Japan, a country in Asia sitting on 377,915 square kilometers of land with a total population of 125,681,593. Today, Japan's total GDP is a whopping $4.94 trillion with a GDP per capita of $42,940. Japan is a country in East Asia that consists of more than 6,800 other smaller islands in addition to its 4 main islands. It is one of the most technologically and literally developed countries in the world. Despite the fact that the majority of Japan is made up of mountains and densely forested areas, its residents live decidedly urban lives. The nation has long been impacted by its neighbors on a cultural level, and today it combines elements of its old traditions with Western culture. Political unification of the nation dates back to the late 4th and early 5th centuries BC. From the late 7th through the late 12th century, when civilization was at its height, military authority continued for several more years. Between the early 1600s to the middle of the 19th century, the nation was cut off from the West until its ports were opened. Invading various nations in the 1900s, Japan had ambitious territorial goals but was ultimately destroyed in World War II. Japan has a constitutional monarchy and parliamentary administration. Although elected officials actually have the capacity to make decisions, the emperor nonetheless retains his title as a representation of national unity. Japan, the third largest economy in the world, has mostly recovered from the manufacturing disruption brought on by the earthquake and tsunami calamity in 2011. The nation is a major producer of steel, electrical equipment, and automobiles worldwide. In terms of GDP and employment, the service sector accounts for the largest portion of the economy. 7. Thailand. Thailand, a country in Asia sitting on 513,120 square kilometers of land with a total population of 69,950,844. Today, Thailand's total GDP is a whopping $506 billion with a GDP per capita of $19,209. Thailand, which means land of the free, is the only country in Southeast Asia that was not colonized by Europeans. The country is squeezed into the Indochina Peninsula right above the equator, together with neighbors Myanmar, Laos, and Cambodia, and has an arm that juts out to Malaysia. The kingdom, which was formerly known as Siam, was consolidated in the middle of the 14th century, and following a non-violent uprising in 1932, it became a constitutional monarchy. Following a series of coups that were fueled by party rivalries and complaints against leaders, there has been extensive political unrest, and in 2014 the government was placed under interim military rule. Thailand has maintained its strength and growth with low rates of unemployment and poverty thanks to a sizable agricultural sector and a fiercely competitive manufacturing sector. It leads in textiles, tin, and electronics and is the largest exporter of rice in the world. A devoted Buddhist community has incorporated Western education and technology. Despite being one of the most visited nations in the world, just 7% of Thailand's GDP is generated by tourism. In the country of smiles, which contrast bustling, contemporary cities with historic ruins, sparkling beaches, and glittering temples, Buddha figures are everywhere. Both the renowned Thai massage and the cuisine, which balances sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and spicy elements, are native to the country. 6. China. China, a country in Asia sitting on 9,596,960 square kilometers of land with a total population of 1,412,360,000. Today, China's total GDP is a whopping $17.7 trillion with a GDP per capita of $19,338. China, one of the oldest civilizations in the world, has been governed by the Communist Party since 1949, when the People's Republic of China was formed. The nation is ranked as the second largest by landmass and has the highest population in the entire planet. Numerous ethnic groups are recognized by the national government, with Han Chinese making up more than 90% of the population. Although more than 300 languages are acknowledged in the nation, Mandarin Chinese is the official tongue. Since the 1978 implementation of reforms by the former leader Deng Xiaoping, China has had some of the world's fastest major economic growth. China was a single-party socialist state until it transitioned to a market-based economy. After the United States, China has the second largest economy in the world. China's quick economic expansion presents a number of domestic difficulties, including balancing population growth with the country's limited natural resources, rising income inequality, and a significant increase in pollution across. Despite the fact that persistent economic growth has helped hundreds of millions of people escape poverty, the World Bank cautions that China is still a developing nation with many citizens still living below the country's official poverty line. 5. India. India, a country in Asia sitting on 3,287,263 square kilometers of land with a total population of 1,393,409,033. Today, India's total GDP is a whopping $3.17 trillion with a GDP per capita of $7,334. India is a country in South Asia that is situated on a peninsula that juts out into the Arabian Sea and the Bay of Bengal. The nation, which gave rise to both Buddhism and Hinduism, is the second most populous in the world after China. India endured invasions from the north for a significant portion of its lengthy history from people including the Turks, Arabs, and Persians. Britain grew to be the dominating force on the subcontinent by the 19th century. India finally achieved independence from British domination in 1947 after years of nonviolent resistance. India, the biggest democratic country in the world, is a federal republic with 29 largely independent states and 7 union territories. Hindi is the most frequently spoken language, although English is the most significant language for national, governmental, and commercial communication. With a sizable and competent workforce, India's economy is rapidly expanding and diverse. However, based on revenue and gross national product per capita, it is also one of the world's most populous nations. Despite the fact that agriculture employs the majority of people, services are the main driver of economic growth. India has developed into a significant hub for information technology services, corporate outsourcing services, and software employees thanks to its educated, English-speaking workforce. Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, a country in the Middle East sitting on 2,149,690 square kilometers of land with a total population of 35,340,680. Today, Saudi Arabia's total GDP is a whopping $834 billion with a GDP per capita of $49,551. With the vast majority of the territory and riches on the Arabian Peninsula falling within its borders, Saudi Arabia is the giant of the Middle East. Every year, millions of pious Muslims from all over the world travel to Mecca, which is thought to be the birthplace of the Muslim prophet Muhammad and the origin of Islam. The Sunni majority country is dominated by a ferocious religious identity with strong Islamic Sharia legislation, conservative Sunni teachings known as Wahhabism, and precepts of the Quran prevalent in every facet of life. The Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is ruled by a monarch with assistance from 12 appointed ministers. The king, officially the custodian of the two holy mosques in this Islamic state, has always been a direct relative of the nation's 1932 founder. Limited democracy was extended to men in 2005, and women are just beginning their path to equal voting and other human rights, struggling to find a balance between their desired security and control and the pressure for increased democracy. Saudi authorities wage an ongoing internal war with both protesters and extremist groups. A growing reform movement is spurring shifts in the conservative Saudi culture, although political parties, along with trade unions and public gatherings, are still prohibited by the government. Freedom of expression is limited, and international rights groups have criticized the government for its use of torture on detainees and carrying out public executions. 3. Qatar. Qatar, a country in the Middle East sitting on 11,586 square kilometers of land with a total population of 2,930,524. Today, Qatar's total GDP is a whopping $180 billion with a GDP per capita of $93,521. After the Islamic Caliphate was established in 628 AD, Qatar was dominated by a number of regional and international powers. The Al Thani dynasty has dominated the nation since the mid-1800s. The tiny country was formerly an impoverished British protectorate and gained its independence in 1971. Qatar is one of the richest nations in the world today thanks to its oil and natural gas wealth. Manufacturing, construction, and financial services make up just over half of the nation's gross domestic product, which has helped it weather the recent decrease in oil prices globally. With a dual civil and Islamic legal system, Qatar is an absolute monarchy. Since 1999, citizens have been able to cast ballots in local elections, despite the ruling family's strict control over the government. The population of the nation is 2.4 million. With roughly 2/5 living in Doha, the vibrant and contemporary capital. Although ethnic Arabs make up 40% of the population, there are also sizable populations of Iranians, Pakistanis, and Indians. Qataris live in a country with a high level of living thanks to its oil wealth. Education and healthcare are both free for everyone. The nation has positioned itself as a magnet for research, and many illustrious American colleges have set up satellite campuses near Doha. Qatar is slated to host the World Cup soccer tournament in 2022, making it the first Middle Eastern nation to do so. 2. Egypt. Egypt, a country in Africa sitting on 1,001,450 square kilometers of land with a total population of 104,258,327. Today, Egypt's total GDP is a whopping $404 billion with a GDP per capita of $13,316. Voters ratified a new constitution at the beginning of 2014, the most recent of several since the formation of contemporary Egypt in the 1920s. The unrest that engulfed the nation and many other Arab countries as they tried to eliminate autocratic rule gave birth to the constitution. In line with its 2014 constitution, Egypt continues to be a republic with Islam as its official religion and Arabic as its official tongue. The federal government of the nation is composed of the executive, legislative, and judicial departments. The Nile River Valley, which contains the majority of the country's fertile land, is where the majority of economic activity occurs. Manufacturing, agriculture, and tourism are significant industries. Egypt's economy has been negatively impacted by social and political unrest, which has slowed foreign investment, and sectors like tourism. The deadly accident of an Egypt Air passenger flight in 2016 further shook the country's already precarious public relations efforts. Egypt's population still faces high levels of unemployment, poverty, income inequality, and illiteracy despite significant improvements in living conditions. A $12 billion loan from the International Monetary Fund is expected to reduce financial strains over the next years, provided that significant economic reform and rapid employment development are implemented. Violence against women and crime are problems that are getting worse. The biggest terrorist incident in Egypt's recent history occurred in late November 2017, when militants attacked a mosque in the Sinai Peninsula, killing over 300 people. 1. United Arab Emirates. United Arab Emirates, or UAE, a country in the Middle East sitting on 83,600 square kilometers of land with a total population of 9,991,083. Today, UAE's total GDP is a whopping $359 billion with a GDP per capita of $66,766. Due to a series of agreements with Great Britain, the Emirates that make up the UAE were known as the Trucial States in the 19th century. 6 of these republics joined together to form the UAE in 1971, while a 7th state joined in 1972. The economy of the UAE was mostly centered on fishing and the pearl business before the discovery of oil in the middle of the 20th century. In the 1960s, when oil exports started, the nation's economy quickly changed. According to the Seas World Factbook, the UAE's per capita gross domestic product is currently comparable to that of the most developed countries in Western Europe. The nation also has the most competitive economy in the Arab world, according to the World Economic Forum. Despite having a conservative core, the UAE is one of the more liberal nations in the Gulf, and its constitution recognizes freedom of religion. The nation is a confederation of kingdoms with a hybrid legal order based on both civil and Islamic law. Political parties are outlawed, and there is restricted suffrage. Only a select group of residents are allowed to vote for the unicameral Federal National Council. The 2 major cities in the UAE, Dubai and Abu Dhabi, are well known for bringing in countless tourists each year. The Burj Khalifa, the tallest structure in the world, is located in Dubai, a bustling regional business center. The national capital of the United Arab Emirates is Abu Dhabi, which also houses the Federal National Council. Thank you for watching this video. We will publish these videos every single day. Please subscribe to this channel to receive many more videos about the globe. This is Around the Globe.